The word of the day is rescue, not release. That's what just happened in the hunt for hostages in Israel, resulted in 4 being saved. But why don't the normal rules apply when it comes to Israel? Hamas stole people, made them hostages. They refuse to return them. Israel is forced to hunt them down, just like every other country would. They find them. They get into a bloody battle. Hundreds are killed. They manage to free 4 of the hostages. And then the media, especially the anonymous hordes on social media, say the hostages were released. No, they were rescued. Listen.
This morning at 11 a.m., Israeli Special Forces conducted complex hostage rescue mission and successfully rescued 4 of our hostages from Hamas captivity in Gaza. They are back home in Israel. They are alive. They are well.
No rescue, no deal. Hamas had nothing to do with this except to try to make it not happen. They failed. Among those rescued, you see on your screen, 26-year-old Noa Argamani. Now, Argamani was a real symbol of the October 7th attack. Do you remember the video of her being kidnapped? Here it is, going viral, screaming, "Don't kill me," her arms stretched out to her boyfriend also being kidnapped. Today, Israel released intense body cam footage of the rescue of the other 3 male hostages. And just to put this to bed once and for all about, oh no, they were released. You're trying to give Hamas a bad name. You don't have to give Hamas a bad name. It's a terror organization. Watch the video, please. What?
כנס. אחד איתי. עברית, הם פה כולם. הנה, פה. שם. אנדרי. 3 שונים בידי. 3 שונים. הכל בסדר, אני מחלק אתכם כאילו בגבול. יש? יש.
They got 4, but what does it mean for the others? What does it mean for the Americans? Okay? Now, there's another controversy regarding the hostages also, or maybe it isn't. We're going to discuss it. The United States is supposedly, reportedly, considering a deal directly with Hamas terrorists to return the American hostages. Let's bring in John Spencer, the Urban Warfare Studies Chair at West Point's Modern War Institute, and Frank Lowenstein. He's a former U.S. Special Envoy for Israel, Israeli-Palestinian negotiations. It's good to have you both. First of all, hold me to it. Am I wrong? Was there something coordinated about this, that it was kind of a release, or is it obvious that it is what we saw, John? I'll start with you. This is a rescue. Hamas was not trying to help this happen.
Chris, I think you're 100% right, and it is clearly obvious that was a very risky hostage rescue operation. The thing that I think is obvious is when all these other news agencies use the words they know that matter. They use the word freed or released. That is absolutely done on purpose. So you are 100% right. Use the right words. These people were freed, not free, they were rescued by Israel in this very dangerous hostage rescue operation, very historic. And what you see on that video is, again, contrary to, I'm sure what we'll discuss, is the counter narrative at what cost, very, very destructive. You saw some very elite soldiers enter a very targeted location where they knew the hostages were being held by Hamas and by civilians.
Frank, what am I missing here from a messaging perspective? Why would anybody call this a release?
I really have absolutely no idea. It was obviously a hostage rescue mission. The Israelis are really good at this, going back to Entebbe, so they deserve full credit for it. I think the real issue is that a model that you can use to get the other Haiti hostages out? right? Obviously, this is a very complicated mission. A lot of
No.
civilians were killed, and the hostages were at great risk. So is this something that's sustainable for Israel going forward or not? I think that's really the question.
Yeah, but it's not sustainable. They're supposed to give them back. You know, there's this whole charade going on that may make more sense to you, Frank, because you've been involved with these kinds of situations before. Now we hear the United States may be doing a unilateral deal with Hamas. What happened to not negotiating with terrorists? I guess that went out, you know, with the Taliban and al-Qaeda and everybody else we negotiated with. But supposedly the latest reporting is that Israel is okay with the United States cutting a side deal with Hamas. Do you believe that? And do you believe that's the right move for the U.S.?
Well, I think we need to do everything we possibly can to get our folks out of there. The real question in my mind is, what are we actually going to offer Hamas in return? You know, they want prisoners that are in Israeli jails right now. I don't know if we really have anything we can give them in return for our hostages. But whatever we can offer them, we should absolutely do it because we need to get those folks home.
John, what is the risk of offering Hamas anything?
Right. That's the true question is what could we possibly offer Hamas that wouldn't be counterproductive to the rest of the hostages coming home or Israel's mission? We believe there's a shared ground between negotiating sides that both sides want to see innocent people no longer harmed in the continuation of the war, when that, in fact, is the exact opposite of what Hamas says. They actually want more innocent people hurt. So how do you negotiate with somebody who doesn't have that shared understanding, where the only thing you can offer them is continued survival, and then means more prisoners, more support? I couldn't see. I agree, all means need to be tried, but anything Hamas could be given that wouldn't be counterproductive to the rest of the hostages coming home.
Yeah, Chris,
John, what do you make? Go ahead, Frank.
Well, we had an interesting experience with this in 2014, trying to negotiate a ceasefire between Israel and Hamas. We were working through the Qataris, and Hamas was holding out for just outrageous demands. And finally, Secretary Kerry said, well, what do they really want out of this? They're obviously not going to get that. And the foreign minister said to us, you know, they would rather die than continue to live this way. It's just really difficult to negotiate with people that have nothing left to lose. And it's really difficult to increase pressure on a bunch of ruthless terrorists hiding in tunnels, already bearing the full weight of the IDF trying to take them out every day. So just very little leverage we really have over the Hamas in this situation.
But Frank, isn't the answer regional? Isn't it having the Arabs stepping up and saying, look, Hamas, you got to get out, okay? And we're going to have elections there. The Gazans have to decide who they want to represent them, and it can't be a terror organization. Doesn't it have to be regional?
Yeah, that would be great. The problem is that we don't really have any allies in that region of any influence over Hamas whatsoever. The only folks that could maybe put a little pressure on them would be Iran. But obviously, we're not having any kind of conversations with the Iranians right now. So, and Hamas, you got to remember, they don't care what happens at the UN Security Council. They don't care what the Jordanians or anybody else, the Saudis, tell them. These are hardened terrorists hiding in tunnels, prepared to die, for their cause. So it's just difficult to negotiate with them.
Yeah, and it's not
Frank is right, John, but hold on, John, let me give you some context, then you go where you want. They're not that ready to die, right? Because they are hiding in highly populated areas, like where they were keeping Noah Aramani. They know what they're doing, and what they're doing is they're playing the coward's game. They're hiding among populations, and they're using them as shields. And given that, though, John, if these were Americans that, this was a different war at a different time, we would have gone in just as heavy, if not heavier, and probably sooner. What's your take on those 2 points, John?
You're 100% right. You don't have to take my word. Take General Milley, who was the Joint Chief of Staff for many years, who said we would have went immediately with overwhelming force to bring our people home and to stop the rockets from falling. And I, as an American, wanted my fellow citizens home a lot earlier, and many of the efforts have constrained those operations for Israel to achieve those goals. On the part about, Hamas has nothing left to lose, it's hard to negotiate when they're under attack. Hamas themselves, like you, Chris, you've watched, has said over and over again, I don't have the goals that you're trying to push on me. I don't have this goal of a Palestinian state alongside of Israel. My goal is, according to Hamas, to get as many of my people killed to achieve my political objective, which is not living side by side in a two-state solution, but the complete erasing of Israel off the map and the death of all Jews around the world. How do you negotiate with that, Chris?
You can't. I mean, Frank, that's the tortured part of all this, that Israel is being put on equal footing with a terror organization. And they're taking a beating here at home. Frank, I mean, the messaging is that Hamas are the victims in this, and Israel is at once David, but really more Goliath. Well, that's what we've been seeing on campuses. That's what we're hearing on the political left. I mean, why don't the normal rules apply when it's Israel, which is you stole our people, you tried to kill us, now we're going to come for you. That's what happens every other time it happens.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question that Israel has every right to try to take Hamas out and of course, to try to rescue the hostages. I think the question is how many civilians die along the way and how much humanitarian assistance is restricted getting in there, because the civilian population in Gaza is really caught in the middle here. Yahya Sinwar, who's the head of Hamas, said he doesn't care if 100,000 Palestinian civilians die in this war. So you have a guy who just does not care how many of his own people.
No, they're just martyrs.
Yeah, it's all
they're just martyrs.
Furtherance of the cause, and it's outrageous.
Yeah.
The difficult part of it is just that they don't care what anybody thinks or says. They don't abide by the same sort of rules and norms and standards that we do. So we keep thinking, well, why wouldn't Hamas take this? They can get some prisoners out and get some humanitarian assistance in. They don't care. Right. They would rather die. They would rather have thousands of Palestinian people killed if it helps them advance the cause. And I think they believe that Israel's in trouble right now. They're isolated in the international community. Obviously, they're getting sided with the Biden administration. Yeah. And I don't think they're in any hurry to bail them out of that. And it's really unfortunate.
The key is the aid. The one that I believe, if we're going to criticize the IDF, I'm sure they have the right. It's about how they exercise the right. Aid has been what exposes them as being cruel and being not invested in doing this the least damaging way possible. They've made a mistake with aid. They have rationales for it, but it's wrong. The second mistake they've made that they're continuing to make, which I hope they reverse, I hope they reverse both, the aid and this, let the media in. Stop blocking people like me from going to Gaza and seeing what's happening for ourselves. It is not your job to keep us safe, and it is killing you in terms of having a fair story be told. Frank Lowenstein, John Spencer, I appreciate you both. Thank you for your perspective. To be continued.